Okay, so today we are discussing conjunctions. Let me spell that out for you. C-O-N, at least that is supposed to look like an N, J-U-N-C-T-I-O-N-S, conjunctions. So some basic examples of conjunctions are and, but, or. You're probably familiar with these. There are more, like because, so, nor. Okay, and these conjunctions typically go in the middle of two sentences. There's also some more difficult conjunctions that are used with semicolons. Those are however, therefore. So we're just going to stick to some of the basics. So examples would be like, I want to go to the store and I want to go home. I like them because they are nice to me. So let's do an example sentence where we can write this out. Okay, so we are going to start with the word and. I want the candy and toy and food. Okay, so you're getting this example as I'm writing this. This is how kids first learn to use the conjunction and in a list form. I want this and this and this and this and the candy and the toy and the food. So let's try another example with and. Charles likes to eat chicken and fries, period. Okay, so this is an example where we just have one sentence and we're using the conjunction and. So you have the subject, Charles, and then you have the two objects, chicken and fries, and the verb is eat. So it's not two sentences being put together, it's just one sentence, and you use that conjunction. So you can have single sentences that have a conjunction like and, but, or. Okay, and we are going to give another example. Charles went to the park, comma. Okay, so we have one full sentence. Charles went to the park, comma, and now we're going to add another full sentence. So when we have another full sentence, you want a comma. So comma, and he fed the birds, period. So we have this conjunction and it is joining two sentences together. First sentence, Charles went to the park. Second sentence, he fed the birds. Okay, so we have two separate sentences. Each sentence has a subject and an object and a verb. And again, he is the subject, birds is the object, fed is the verb. And so if you had to put a period at the end of park, you could say Charles went to the park, period. And it would be a full, good English, good grammar sentence. And if you said he fed the birds, period, that could be a full sentence by itself. Okay, so one more time, let's talk about the components. You got Charles, the subject noun, you got went, the verb, and you got the park, which is the object. That is what you need to make one full sentence. Okay, and you take a look at the next sentence that was joined. You have the subject, he, the verb, fed, the article, the, and the object noun, birds. That is everything you need for one full sentence. Okay, now if we were missing that, if you said Charles went to the park and fed the birds, we are missing our subject noun there, and usually in that situation you wouldn't have a comma. Okay, so you see this example. Charles went to the park and fed the birds. Is fed the birds a full sentence? No, it's not. So you wouldn't have a comma. It is not two full sentences. You would say Charles went to the park and fed the birds. Because now Charles is the subject for this whole sentence. Charles, and then the park, and then birds are the object. So this now makes just one full sentence. So Charles went to the park was the independent clause, and fed the birds would have been a dependent clause. Okay, so those are some examples with the conjunction and. Okay, so here's another great example where a lot of people, especially in old books, will start a sentence with a conjunction. They'll start with and. So let's see, and there was a storm outside. Now, there are situations in which you can start a sentence with a conjunction. If you are preparing for the TOEFL or IELTS or any other kind of English proficiency test, I don't suggest that you experiment with these different English components and where they go in a sentence. I would stick to the normal format where you use a conjunction between two sentences, or if you use it in one sentence, you use it typically at the end of a sentence, or you'd say Charles and Jason went to the park. That'd be an example of it close to the beginning of the sentence. So let's write that. Let's give an example. Charles and Lucy went to the park, period. Or yes, yeah, we'll do a period there. Okay, so Charles and Lucy went to the park. Okay, let's take away that period and let's add another conjunction. So Charles and Lucy went to the park and fed the birds. Okay, so we have a similar sentence, but do we need a comma? Do we need a comma after park? Oh, this sentence now has two conjunctions and no comma? Well, fed the birds, we know, is not a full sentence. So Charles and Lucy went to the park and fed the birds. If we want to put a comma there, we're going to have to add a noun subject to the next sentence. So now I put a comma. Charles and Lucy went to the park is a full sentence, and fed the birds is not a full sentence. We are missing something. We are missing our noun subject. So let's add they, because Charles and Lucy are two or more. Charles and Lucy went to the park, comma, and they fed the birds. Is they fed the birds a full sentence? Yes, it is. They fed the birds. So now we have two full sentences. Charles and Lucy went to the park and they fed the birds. Okay. Okay, we are going to now use the conjunction but, B-U-T. Now, but usually means there's something you don't know or there's kind of a catch to what is being said. I'm happy, but I want more ice cream, so I could be happier. Okay, so let's write the sentence. Jason bought, oh geez, I'm forgetting my T there. Okay, Jason bought a motorbike, but what's the problem? Jason bought a motorbike, but the motor... Okay, but the motorbike... And I couldn't fit that in there, so doesn't work. Okay, so do we see the catch, the problem here? You didn't say Jason bought a motorbike and he rides it a lot. It's Jason bought a motorbike, but the motorbike doesn't work. Okay, so there's a problem. There's something you didn't know before. Jason didn't know the motorbike didn't work, maybe, or doesn't work. Okay, so here we have the motorbike doesn't work. And we have two full sentences again, so yes, we use a comma after the first motorbike. Jason bought a motorbike. That is a full sentence. But the motorbike doesn't work. And yes, the motorbike doesn't work is a full sentence. Okay, and now we are going to do the last basic conjunction, which is or, O-R. So usually you use or if you have an option, you have a choice, like which one do you want? Do you want cookies or pizza? You get to choose one of them. So let's use this example. We could go to the mall, comma, or we. So you see I had to use we 2 times because if we use that comma, you need a noun subject for both sides. Or we could go to the beach, period. Okay, so we have 2 full sentences. We could go to the mall. We could go to the beach. And we put them together using a comma and or. We could go to the mall or we could go to the beach. If we took out we and said we could go to the mall or could go to the beach, we wouldn't need that comma.